Project Merlo is now back from the paint shop. Still some jobs to do. They put the mirror back in the wrong place. They put this mirror here when really it should be up there. Got some lights to go back on. The old lights were a bit knackered, so I've ordered some new LED ones off Amazon, and then also the headlights are badly corroded. So you can now get, rather than a genuine Merlo one that's about 120 quid, or even the replacement insides, which are about £50, you can now, for £82 a pair, get a set of headlights that work off LEDs, indicator and headlight, to go in here. So I've ordered a pair of them for it. I've ordered some for the top of the cab, ordered some for up there. I've ordered an LED beacon because the wiring on these Merlos was never the best. So if I change all the lights to LED, the wiring will run a lot cooler because it uses a hell of a lot less voltage. Got to put the door panel back on. The guy that painted it forgot to do that. Anyway, that's in the workshop. But we'll fix the door handle at the same time as well. So then the door handle will go back on. It's got its new tyres on. It has got a slight oil leak on this tilt wrap. And I wasn't going to bother fixing it, but I don't know if to do it or just see how it goes. It's only a slight leak, but it's getting a little bit annoying, especially when they were painting it. Because when they were painting it, they had the boom in the air and it kept dripping on the paint underneath. Top tip, if you're ever painting rams, rather than mask them off, put grease on them. And then when you finish painting, the grease just rubs off and you don't have to mess around taking the masking tape on and off and wrapping all the way around them. Looks totally different. This is now all been rebuilt up with fiberglass. So that looks good, because you imagine all that was munched in. I'll put a picture on now what that looked like. In fact, I'll put the walk around video on now of when I first got it and what it looked like, then you can compare the difference, especially with the bonnet. Quick closer look at Project Merlo. Sorted out some tyres, hopefully they're on the way. The paintwork is obviously bad, but just needs painting. Door handle, something wrong with that, but we can fix that with some heli coils. 10,500 hours. Joystick, 34 quid off eBay. Even cheaper off RS if I can match it on RS Components website, which I've done in the past. Wiring up there just needs tidying back up and gluing back in. It has little sticky bobs that hold it in the top. That needs straightening. The lights are sort of alright, but they've lost the chrome on the inside. Headstock needs some serious bushing. Sort that. It might need drilling and re-steel bushing. There's 2 bolts snapped with all that belly plate on. That's fairly easy fix. And obviously the exhaust rotted. Well, we can get some new components for that and make our own silencer and straight pipe. Paint the wheel silver, fiberglass that, push that back square, lick of paint, it should be all right. All the exhausts obviously now fixed. That was a pretty easy job as well. In the end, pickup which only needs painting, nothing wrong with that. It's got its new tyres on, got its lights back on. This was a little bit pitted under here if you look, it just looks a bit funny, but man on a galloping horse can't see. This is one of the original ones with what they call a ring of steel. So this is this steel beam all the way around the whole machine that protects it, and that's why a second-hand Merlo generally are quite straight, tidy machines, because that ring of steel's protected them. Need to get some stickers for it, and then I've got a seat cover for it. I don't know whether we put a new seat or get a new bottom cushion for it because the corner has worn. Brakes have been done. This was the worst bit of rust on it just here, so I'm going to cut that off square. I'm going to put a rubber flap on that, and then that'll protect that, because it should have a rubber flap. It'd be better with a rubber flap anyway, then at least you can push it and let the mud fall out the bottom. Headstock's obviously all bushed, and if you park it next to the new one, you can see that there's not a lot of well, there is a lot of difference obviously, but they're still both shiny and it looks a lot fresher. Funnily enough, that lifts 2.6 tonne to 6 metres, and that lifts 2.7 tonne to 6 metres. So it just shows you how much they've changed over the years, that they've managed to make what was already a small compact machine even smaller. Should have parked them nose to nose really, shouldn't I? But yeah, Project Merlo is coming together and it's nearly complete. Corn drill's in the corner of the shed. This is where the wheat was the other week. That is now ready for drilling some sunflowers. We're going to drill them, then clean it all down, oil it all up, and then it's obviously for sale at the moment, but it's either getting sold or traded in for the new drill, which hopefully will be coming within the next sort of like 10 days. I'd like to think it'll be coming this next week, but being as how they've been telling me it's been coming on such and such a date, then it never arrives. I reckon it's going to be within the next 10 days, not actually within the next week. So that's quite exciting, and it'll be interesting to see how much room it takes up. So that's quite a big drill, it takes up quite a bit of room in the shed. The other one is twice the size, and instead of having wheels that big on it, it's got like tractor tyre wheels, which will be like this high. Anyway, fit the shed, should look nice and tidy next to the new combine header that should hopefully arrive this month as well. But that, I'm pleased with the project Merlo anyway. That's turned out really well, or turning out really well when it's finished. These beams are going out this next week as well, so that'll give us a bit more space in this shed. This is the straw rake, still on the 250R of Adams from the other day. It's not been taken off yet. These tines are really badly worn, so if you imagine they're like, I don't know, a foot long if that. Well, they used to sort of come to about there. Now I don't know whether to get some 19mm bar, sorry, not 19mm, I think it's 10mm flat bar, round bar, and weld it to them to extend them, or replace them all. You've got to take the bolts out the top, undo these Allen keys, and then slide them all on and slide them all off. I don't know whether, there's obviously a lot of expense in buying new tines, they're from Canada, or I try just welding something on the bottom of them first, maybe rebar because it's cheap, see if that works. I don't know, but probably needs doing. We might just get this harvest out of it, but after that we'll have to do something, otherwise there won't be enough clearance, because when this folds down and spins out, the tines will only come to there, and there's not a lot of clearance between the top of the tine and the coil and the frame, and then it could block up with straw. It's all right if you bale the straw, but it could block up. It also needs a good cleaning off as well, because the paint's gone quite green. Loads of people always ask about doing a machinery tour. Well, you're kind of getting one now, because I'm in this shed. There's quite a bit of machinery in it. The fast track's here. This hopefully, well, not hopefully, I like this tractor, but they're supposed to be swapping it in July, so that's only like, I don't know, 8 weeks away now, if that. So the other one's exactly the same, apart from they've changed the style of these headlights, but otherwise I don't think there's any real differences you can see. They did a special edition Guy Martin one of these, and they had stitching on the seat, and I wanted to get one of them last year when they came out, but they'd all sold out, and they didn't get one for me. It's still got the bubble machine on it. I really do need to take that off. We'll go around here and see what's around the other side. I think it's just the fertiliser spreader actually. Yeah, sulky fertiliser spreader. I think we've had this about 7 years now. Brilliant machine. It's only ever had a spring on the agitator, I think. Just showing its age a little bit now, sort of around these screw holes. Little bits of rust seeping in. Don't know whether to sand that down, put some red oxide, some sort of rust treatment on it, and then get some paint and paint it, keep it tidy, or run it another 12 months and then swap it for a different one. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with it though, apart from that. But once you start getting the rust, it does tend to sort of like not stop, and it just eats in and explodes it. And you'll end up with it down here next year. So do we nip it in the bud now and try and protect it or not? Generation 6, 724. This obviously come the other week, so it's on the front of the fertiliser spreader. It's not got any beacons on. Oh, sorry, no, it has got the beacons back on now, but they're not working. But Sam swapped the beacons because he didn't like the LED beacons, and he put halogen ones on it, and halogen beacons don't work on this because the wiring is different at the top of the cab. So now he's put the LED beacons back on. They're now not working. So I think they might have to come out and plug a computer in it and tell it it's got LED beacons on and tell it to work. I don't know. There's another thing I've noticed difference about this. I'll jump up now and show you. Mini Merlo going out the shed. Yeah, this is the difference with this. It's got shark fins on the roof like a car has for the GPS. Yeah, the sulky GPS uses a mag mount aerial. There's nothing metal on the top of the roof, so it's duct taped on, so it's a bit old school. The newer versions of the sulky fert spreader will plug into the tractor and get the GPS signal off the tractor, and then that way then, well, to be honest, that version could have plugged into the tractor, but at the time we didn't have GPS on every tractor that we might use it on, so we got it's standalone GPS which uses that aerial. But now if I ever swapped it, I'd go an ICE bus one, so So you won't have to put the screen in the cab, it'll just plug straight into the tractor terminal, take the GPS reading off the tractor and its speed, and then that'll control it all then. Because it is a bit of a faff putting all these screens in the cab when you want to go fertiliser spreading, so they tend to get left in for most of the season. But you then impede your vision a little bit to the right, and really we've got this big screen here we could be using. So it would be perhaps handy to upgrade it sometime to a nicer bus one. That's about it for this shed anyway. There's just this bit of calcifert lime here. They basically sent me a few bags of it to try. Well, sorry, not to try, for them to film me spreading, which is what we were doing yesterday. It basically works a lot faster than normal lime, so you put such a small dose on and then it instantly works within like first time you get rain. We've used it quite a lot, especially on rented ground when we don't know how long we've got it for, or ground that we know that might end up going for building and different things, because we don't want to put lime on that's like a sort of a 5-10 year investment if the land's not going to be there for us anymore. So we put calcifert on, which is like crushed up granulated lime. Put that on, it works instantly and it lasts a few years, and you pretty much get an instant payback on it. You don't have to wait. Anyway, I bought a lot of it last year. Like, we spent a week carting it because the plant's not too far from us, and they asked me could they come with a drone and film us spreading it for some sort of promotional video. So that's what we were doing yesterday. Adam and Sam have been fixing the PTO on this tractor. It's all ready to go now. Linkage is ready to go back on. We've got a time-lapse camera sat up there. How dirty is round here? Need to tidy up. Get the time-lapse camera there. So I'm going to show you that now. It's off to pastures new, the 6930. It's going down to South Wales, so I think it's going next week. So they're just getting it all ready for him now, because obviously Adam bought the 250R and he's sold the 6930. So because he doesn't need 3 tractors, he doesn't really need 2 because he can only drive one at once. But he has a bit of a tractor obsession, and he always got the 3650s doing up as well. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm going to try and do what all YouTubers do, which is says click here to subscribe. Click here to watch another video. I don't know whether I'm pointing to the right direction or not. But anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. And don't forget, leave a comment if you want to ask something. And I'll see you tomorrow.